Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to do a demo and tutorial of Google Keep. And Google Keep is kind of like Evernote or like Turtle. And I've previously made a video on Turtle, Turtl without the E. Google Keep is free to use. You just need a Google account. It's a note-taking app, and I think it's very useful and it's free to use. So when you first use this, you're gonna see a blank canvas like this, and you've got on the left side you've got these buttons you can use, and you can choose to click on this, and those will make them be moved like that. And I've used Google Keep for a long time, and I think it's quite a useful thing. So this is what it looks like to actually make a note. So at the top is the title of the note, and then this part here is the actual text, and I'll and note that I have the pinned one up here, and then one that's not pinned down there, and I'll discuss about pinning later. And what's really cool is that you can move it around. Let's make one more note. Example notes 3, yet again more text. So it's quite simple actually, but there's beauty in the simplicity. So again, to make a note, you've got the title up there, and then you've got text you can put in, and there's a lot you can do. I'll discuss about the background and maybe briefly mention about this. I almost never use that. You can have collaborators, you can add images, you can archive it, which is kind of like deleting, except it's saved, but it's kind of like archiving an email. You can have labels, you can have checkboxes, and more. So this can be very useful for organizing. Yeah, so it's a note-taking app, but there's a lot you can do with it. So as I mentioned, let's say learning Spanish. Okay, recently I've been learning Spanish, and let's say, for example, I want to have a different background. It's really cool that you can have different backgrounds. For whatever reason, you might want to. So you can have basically a background for the bottom part, and you can have a background for the top part. See here, I've got sort of a pinkish. Oh, that's a peach. That's orange. That's kind of a yellow, green, blue, purple, and so on. So you can make it look really beautiful if you've got different things you can choose. So this is groceries for background, food. What is that? So this is a forest, I guess. You've got travel, and I'm not sure what that is, but I think that looks pretty cool. I kind of like that background. So let's say I wanted to keep that. And for example, this one, if I want, I can have a background of like that. I think that's pretty cool. And then, for example, let's try this one more. Like that. So it's pretty cool that you can have the different backgrounds and you can play around with it. You might even be able to have a custom color. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be able to. Yeah, maybe later they'll add features so you can add your own custom color. But this can be pretty useful, for example, if you have different categories. So the background color is pretty useful, And then let's say learning, I can say learning physics or learning astronomy. I don't know. So you can have a background color, and then let's say galaxies were first discovered in the 1900s. So notice I just hit enter and it made another list item, kind of like in Google Docs. Comets. Okay, I'm just making I don't know, just making some sort of a gibberish text. So there's really a lot you can do. And let's say you had some long text like this. You might be able to do something with that. And so that's just an example. You can make bullets. And let's say, for example, you want to so check boxes. So if you do check boxes, I think that's a really cool feature. And then you can close the different checkboxes, and then later you can convert back. Let's say hide checkboxes, so it converts them back. And then let's say here you want to have the checkboxes again for some reason. You can add another list item. See that's really clever, right? Let's say go back to the checkboxes, and then you can undo the checkboxes, which I think is really cool. And again, let's say checkboxes. So if you add checkboxes, it automatically adds them as list items. And it's really cool because you can move the list items around. Let's say yet more text can go to the bottom. And you see, notice here, this is kind of a sub list item. If you you can move it to the right, move it to the left, so they're aligned. And this is so it becomes a sub list item in the check boxes. I think that's a really useful thing. And again, we can move these items around, and you might want to have the default color of white. And then let's say again we want to have checkboxes. Actually, recently I don't use checkboxes that much, but they could be very useful. It depends on what you're doing. There's so much you can do with Google Keep. It's all more or less what you want to do with it, but it is very useful. So let's say, for example, learning Spanish. I'll have the I'll go back to the default colors. Let's say Spanish word, English word. Let's say lunes, Monday. Okay, I don't know. So for example, maybe you want to practice vocab like that. So now what I want to show you is some images. This is showing you, this shows you an image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is an image will post here. So what you can do is click on add image, and I'm going to add an image from my computer. Okay, so I just added an image of this was a screenshot taken from one of my recent videos. I was playing, this is from Pokemon Blue version, and I made a video about Retro Boy, which is able to play Game Boy games in a browser. So I just added that image, and the image is above. So that is an image from Pokemon Blue version. And I'm going to show you one more image, another image. Okay, so this is an image I added. This was an image made from, I can't remember which video I made. Maybe it was made from Grok or from Microsoft Copilot. I can't remember. But anyway, so I just added another image I made from another video, for another video. And yeah, so you can add images, and so far I've gone over checkboxes. And then one of the cool features is they have the option to have a drawing. I wanted to show you what a drawing looks like. You can add drawing, and this is kind of cool because you can kind of do freestyle drawing. You have like a marker, different markers. You've got an eraser. This is not really something I really use much at all ever, but I think it's cool. Cool notes. So if you have the desire to draw something, you can have it go back, and it basically adds it kind of like an image. And then you can add text here. A drawing, some text for the drawing. Okay. Now, what I want to do is show you about pinning comments. So I mentioned here already, you see here this says pinned, and then this is other. So what pinning does is it takes a note and it actually puts it at the top. So if you click on this pin note, notice that it'll jump to the top. So you could have many rows. This can be very useful, especially if you have many different rows of notes. For example, like this. Okay, I'm going to put those at the bottom. Let's say that, okay, I haven't actually made many notes for this video, but let's say you had hundreds of notes. This could be a great way to get things to jump right to the top. And if you want to unpin it, go like that, and it's very useful. And again, this is moving stuff around. Moving stuff around can be very helpful, very useful. You can't move stuff around between the pinned and unpinned, but within each category you can move it around. I think that's quite useful. Okay, so I'm running short of time for this video. I wanted to show you some other important features. So first is archiving. So this can be useful, especially if you have lots of notes. Let's say you have hundreds of notes, but you don't want to delete them. This is a way to organize, basically. So back to the notes. You see, one of the notes was archived. It says yet another note. And okay, so when you select from the archive, you can actually unarchive it if you click in the upper left, and there's this button unarchive, and it'll go back. So that's very useful. So the archiving feature is useful if you have quite a lot, and then of course if you have a note and you want to actually delete it, you can. You can go to delete note like this, and it will go to the trash. And the trash, it says they're deleted after 7 days, but you can actually choose to delete them immediately. Okay, and if you want to have a note that's shared with others, you can actually do that with this button. Where is it? Add a collaborator. Yeah, this one you can add a collaborator. I've never done this, but that's a way to actually share the note, because I've only ever used this for my own stuff. And then this is a cool feature. You can actually send it to Google Docs, and I'll show you. It says copy to Google Docs. So you can do is click on this, and it will actually open a Google Doc. It'll send it to Google Docs. Okay, you can click Open Doc, and I think it's a really cool feature. So you can basically make a Google Doc from your note. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel or follow it. See you in the next one, and thank you.